Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Eddie Marcus again. I have another, or should I say, an additional message for you. I want to thank you so very much for being interested enough to stop. You know, we have lived long enough to recognize that the system of men is just not sufficient enough for life. It doesn't matter whether you are an American or anything else. It doesn't matter whether you are black or white, men or women. We find that there's enough prejudiceness in the ideologies of men that will keep us all messed up. It will keep us all drowning in the sea of hate. Beginning here in my own country where I live, to every other country on the face of the earth, for there are none where people can relax and have the joy of life and the fulfillment of their dreams everywhere. Not one place on earth can this happen. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I've given you information about your deliverer, which is the truth, and that is to set you free. And this is the love of God, the same God that created you for peace and freedom and prosperity and joy and the fulfillment of your dreams. But now, since I've given you that information, many of you are referring back to it, and a lot of you have questions should I say, that you would like to have answered. And for that purpose, I would like to acquaint you with the methodology, because these things got a method to it. You know, I mentioned earlier, we don't expect everybody to wake up at the same time and take the necessary action at the same time. But in the meantime, you need what you have been getting money to do. You still need those needs met. And according to the present system, the only way to get it met is to have money. So what you do is that you recognize what is required. You recognize that change is necessary. And that you are ready to make that change. And you begin making that change within yourself, within your community, with everybody. You just start making that decision. And when the time is right, you will know. Then you could switch from using the devil's tool, using Satan's tool, using man's tool, to use God's tool. Now let me share that methodology with you. This truth I have shared with you won't be accepted at the same time by all of you. I'm sure you know that. So a few practical steps must be taken. At all times, or collectively, whatever is appropriate, from the poorest upward, in every city, in every town, in every state. Now what am I saying? I'm saying that action must be taken. And it must be taken by the poorest. I mean, if the poorest can put up with it, those who are not so poor, they can put up with it. Those who are rich can put up with it. So it is the poorest. They must be the first ones to take the necessary action. And this is to be represented in every city, in every town, in every state. You must group yourselves together and visit your local officials and indicate to them the failures of the system that they have sworn to uphold and how it fails to meet your needs. Whatever your beef is, that is your case. Now, when I say meet your needs, if you don't have a job, they need to meet your need. If you don't have housing, education, healthcare, all of this, if you're just drowning in debt, they need to meet your needs. And whatever your situation is, that's what that's your case. Now, as a group of unemployed, you could visit your local authorities like that, or people who are absent health care like that. But I suggest that all of you go together at one time. You make a plan. Everybody take off a day of work if they must, and go to City Hall and say, look, These are our problems. You have sworn to uphold the law, but the law, if it is being upheld, failed to meet our needs, failed to meet our requirements, and it must change or you must go. Excuse me. Now, when you talk to them, see, don't let them think you stupid. Remind them that there is one who has a proposal that I've shared with you many times that can meet your needs. And that proposal comes from God. Now, the next step of this methodology is, having gone to your local government and stated your case, they'll either do what they can or can't, but they won't satisfy your desires for sure. Now we need every city must group themselves together. Every city must group themselves together and carry your burden to the states. That means every city in the United States must carry their burdens to the state capital of that particular state and proclaim these same failures. They'll do whatever they can do, but you can bet your last money they won't be able to satisfy it. And neither are you looking for them to satisfy it. You just forcing them to admit that they can't. Forcing them to admit that the system that which you live under, whether it's here in America, Russia, China, wherever you live, it is unable to meet the requirements of all the people. It is unable. These institutions are set up by men. I hear not too long ago, they just changed the policy in China to make one man ruler over all China. And they got as much poverty in China as they do anywhere else. And yet they made one man rule. Is that supposed to make things better? No, my friend. Now, lastly, as far as this methodology goes, every state, 50 states of the United States, with all of the cities within these states, and the voice of all the people within the United States of America, must petition the federal government to satisfy these your concerns. Or it is the will of the people to turn the government back to God. It is your will to not put up with this crap any longer. You want to be satisfied, and you're not upset at other people being satisfied. You live in a system that will satisfy some and not others. You live in a system that will make people millionaires and billionaires while others are sleeping on the bridge. That is not acceptable according to God, and it is not acceptable to you, because I don't care what your status is right now, you might find yourself being just like the people from Central America, trying to get out of this country, and they build a wall to keep you in. Now, my friends, you must change, and the whole nation must change, because you have changed. And if they can't do it, and they can't, then it is your will, it is your desire, it is your choice to give this government back to God. You are a representation of the failures of the present government. Whether you're here or there, you are a representation of the failures of the government. And if all of you go there and the only people stay away are the super rich, the 1%, you still are the representation of the failure of the present government. Now, when they are unable to do what you require, demand a special election. When the federal government cannot do what you require, demand a special election. I don't care what the Constitution says, change it, ignore it. You're the people. The Constitution is not greater than the people. Now, you have a special election. What is it for? To vote all the inept politicians from office and install those that God has prepared. This is the method for the entire human population on earth. It might sound simple to you, ladies and gentlemen. In its theory, it is very simple. The thing that makes it complicated in reality, it's because you got people on various sides of the line. Some people that got a quarter satisfied and think that because they got a quarter, the person who has nothing needs to go sit down. Be humble. Be respectful of God. As you are respectful, well, I started to say as you're respectful of the earth, but here in America, you're not even respectful of the earth. Global warming, and you just ignored it. Why? Because there's money to be made. Why are you ignoring global warming? Because there's money to be made. Well, you tell them all the resources of the earth are from God. This is your message to them, ladies and gentlemen. Tell them that all the resources of the earth are from God. That several of these resources are essential for the survival of every human on earth. Let them know that you are willing to participate in your survival by engaging in a career of your choice. The main careers you will find, ladies and gentlemen, addresses the needs for human survival. The main careers. They immediately addresses the needs for human survival. Now this process has everyone engaged, producing all that is needed to provide health care to all, education to all, shelter, food, and clothing for all, for everyone. This is the model. This is the model for 8 billion people. And it's the foundation for whatever interest humankind, whatever other interest humankind might have. It has been said, ladies and gentlemen, by a young man by the name of Mayer Rothschild, long time ago. He said, "Give me control of the money, and I care not who makes the laws." In other words, he don't care if it's communism, capitalism, socialism, dictatorship, or God. Or God. Give him the control of this money. Because he knows that money allows the world to be dominated by evil. You see, if you're not following God's plan, there is only one other plan, and that's an evil plan. And money just guides it on down the road much easier. It is God's truth that frees and produces peace, prosperity, joy, freedom, and the fulfillment of dreams. Dreams that every last one of you have. And no money is ever needed. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I have given you these last 2 posts. It is as clear as daylight. It is as complicated as you are confused in your mind and in your heart. You get that confusion out of the way. It's like, let me give you this. If babies coming into the world had sense, I mean real sense like I'm telling you about, they themselves would come up with this plan. They would just automatically do what they love doing, and having done that, it would, by actions of that, produce everything that these babies need. Everything. One thing they would not think about is money. Babies and children don't think about money. It's grown folks who have given up the truth and bought into a lie. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I won't worry you. I won't bother you. I'll leave that with you. And I'm going to see. And I'm going to come back to you. Because you must do this. You must do it for yourselves. You must do it for your progeny. You must do it for life. Otherwise, you will die. Truly die. And I'm not playing. Thank you. Bye-bye.